Good morning. So, I don't know what today is. Today is, I think, the 13th, maybe. 13th of January. So, my son, I think, had his transplant on the 4th. So, it's like 2 weeks. And, I'm in the burnout stage at this point. So, I'm kind of burned out on the whole thing. The initial excitement's over. The exhaustion is kind of settled in. Been getting lots of sleep, but the last few days, but it's still not quite enough. I feel like I need more exercise. So today I'm going to start walking around the hospital just to get exercise. In the beginning couple days, the beginning 2 weeks, you don't feel like you can leave the bedside. You feel like you got to be there the whole time, just to give support and comfort. But as time goes on, it kind of becomes monotonous, and you kind of feel like a fifth wheel, like you're not really serving much of a purpose there. There have been a few things we've advocated on for him on his behalf. So it's definitely important to be there for him. But overall, you don't really have a whole lot of control over what's going on, unless you want to try to move him to a different hospital, which is going to be a lot of hassle, probably a big fight. So we're not even thinking about that, but I'm just pointing that out. You're kind of at the mercy of the doctors and what's happening, God's will, once you get into this. So we've moved out of ICU as of yesterday. So was that 9 days? 9 days in ICU. So now we're in the pediatrics, and he's doing all right. He's still nauseous. He's had to have a few blood transfusions because he had some internal bleeding. But overall, he's doing a lot better. He's able to eat. He still gets nauseous a little bit. His sister and brother-in-law visited today. So I don't know how long they're going to be here, but I'm going to kind of stay out of the room so it's not too crowded. One thing I will bring up is that tensions get high pretty easily because of fatigue. So like my wife is very, she worries a lot, put it that way. She worries a lot, so she wants to be in control of what's happening. Well, of course you can't control what's happening, so she's just kind of white knuckling the whole thing. I'm more laid back because I've done a lot of emergency medicine, and I come to the conclusion after seeing a lot that there's a lot of things I can't control, God's in control of. So I've tried to let go and let God deal with it, and just pray my concerns to Him, and that works really well. All my prayers have been answered so far that I can think of. I definitely have no complaints. Everything I've been given is a gift. Every moment of life is a gift. My son is a gift. So it's not mine to keep. All belongs to God. So eventually, it has to be given back. My own life and my son's and everything I have. You don't get to keep it unless God grants it. And that's dependent upon how we live our lives. And, are we living to be with God and live forever, or are we living for the moment and our pleasure and selfishness and desires of the moment? Check out the view. This is a 20th floor. So quite a view. But actually, this is the 11th floor. I take it back. We're on the 20th floor right now, but I'm on the 11th floor getting some coffee in the cafeteria. So this is only the 11th floor. But you get some good views here. It's nice. All right, so tips. What can I do to help people here? Pack light. Don't, you should have emergency go bags anyway, which I'm an old Boy Scout and rescue firefighter and soldier, so, travel light comes natural to me after all my experiences traveling. You're just stressing yourself out if you bring a whole bunch of stuff from home. I think a lot of our homes would be a lot more peaceful and manageable if we didn't have so much stuff. It's unnecessary. So yeah, have an emergency bag, basics that you carry with you everywhere you go for any kind of contingency. I carry a backpack with that stuff, and then have an extra bag for travel clothing. It's appropriate for the season, and keep it light. A couple days worth of clothes. Wear the same clothes, just, for a couple of days, and then wash them. You don't need a whole wardrobe. So that's tip number one. Tip number two is have some meditation or some stress management planning. You don't need to pack a bunch of stuff. You can download meditation apps. There's online prayers from most churches. And you can walk in calisthenics. You can do that anywhere. You don't need a gym. The problem I've had is taking the time out of the day to do it. I always feel like I need to be by his bedside, but right now is a good time for me to actually exercise because there's so many people in the room visiting that it's best if I get out of there and give some space. Which brings up another good help point. Give your family members some space if they're stressed. Doesn't do any good to add to the tension levels. We heal when we're resting and when we're at peace, and best in a healing environment and atmosphere without a lot of toxic tension and energy. So if your spouse or significant other or family member is stressing out and you are seemingly incapable of calming them down and soothing them, then just very gently and in a positive way, excuse yourself, tell them you're going to go for a walk and say some prayers, and you'll be back, and give them some time to chill out and regain their composure. If you're just adding tension to tension, it's not accomplishing any good. So with my son, what I do to help him calm down is I read to him and I sing to him, and that seems to help him quite a bit. What else? I don't know, your tone of voice, your attitude. Your attitude's huge. I can't tell you how important your attitude is. I've seen people with less than perfect attitudes, and it doesn't make anything better. If you're having a disagreement with a doctor or a nurse, be respectful. I brought up a comment about he was having problems with a bleed, and my wife was having a hard time understanding what the doctors were talking about at the moment, which was basically they were going to treat him by giving him blood transfusions to help with his blood levels, and they were going to use dialysis to take off the blood that was pooling in his gut, help to draw that out, and basically this is not the words they used, but this is the words I used to clarify what he was saying, and that is to just provide what his body needs and let nature heal him, and let nature heal his wound. The surgeon seemed to take offense at that, as if I was implying that, George was in God's hands and nature was in control. But that's not what I meant. I meant that he made a comment about, well, that's a very holistic and oversimplified explanation, which is what it was supposed to be. I don't know if he realizes that holistic includes everything, including his job, but it does. Regardless, you have to be very sensitive to egos and people's emotions in these types of environments. Don't ruffle feathers, because you're not doing yourself any favors. I think the doctor was humbled a little bit when he re-explained his position using medical terminology that meant the exact same thing I was saying, and I nodded and said, yep, that's exactly what I said. And then he realized that what I said was true, and then he kind of got busy and ignored me for a while. But you just have to be, it's a high stress environment, and if you got people in the group that don't really understand the medical jargon, it can create a lot of anxiety. So it helps if you can explain to them what's going on. Let's see, I don't think there's a whole lot I can tell you. And that's kind of par for the course, really, for this whole experience, is that you don't really have a whole lot of control. And there's not a whole lot you can do, it seems like, to be that helpful. But put yourself in the patient's position. I don't know how many of you have been severely sick, but I have. And I've been in a coma for like 3 days one time, and I woke up and was in the hospital for a week. And you feel really helpless, and you feel irritable and tired and uncomfortable. A lot of times the greatest peace comes from somebody just being there with you. Maybe just holding your hand, not saying anything, maybe providing you basic needs like a wet washcloth on your head when you got a fever, or a sip of water, or read a book to you to keep your mind occupied. Television is garbage. A lot of that stuff doesn't really help, in my opinion. I think you're better off with a good book. But sometimes kids don't understand that. But that's about all you can do to help. But it's a lot. So sometimes being there is really important. Other than that, you're just praying. There's not a whole lot else you can do. I am very grateful, and it's important to have a good support system and family and friends back home. We live 3 hours away from this hospital, so we've got family and friends that are basically living at our house, or checking on her and taking care of our animals, our chickens and our dogs. Our dogs went to the kennel to make it simple, but we've got cats and other things. And that's very helpful. I have the neighbors there, all and my family. That's important. You might want to set that up if you haven't already, especially in today's world. Things are pretty unstable. All right, so that's about all the rambling I'm going to do on that. He's improving. I'm really hopeful that we'll be going home in a week or so, but I don't know. He's having to relearn to walk because he laid still and asleep for 8 days, and that does devastating things to your muscles and your nerves. So he doesn't have a lot of strength or muscle control. He does a lot of shaking, and he's pretty weak. So he's having to relearn to walk. Yesterday he took a few steps to his chair. He got in and out of bed a few times at physical therapy. So hopefully we'll keep building on that very quickly, trying to regain his strength and his mobility. And I think once that's done and his liver starts working properly and providing his needs for stability and filtration. And he doesn't need more blood transfusions, and his kidneys are working again, which they aren't quite yet completely. Once all that happens, then we'll be going home, I'm sure. And then we'll be coming back 2 or 3 days a week for blood tests and follow-up therapies. So keep us in your prayers. Pray for me, a sinner. God bless. Over and out.